Fox Sports.
We are Black Hawks. We are Florida.
This afternoon in Miami, time for some baseball. Marlins and Phillies getting ready to finish off a three-game series, the Wednesday Showdown, brought to you by Kendall Toyota and West Kendall Toyota. Miami wants to get a win. To do that, they're going to have to score a run. And doing that against Roy Halladay, Chase Utley, and the Phillies, that's not easy. But the fish will give it their best go as we're ready to go for an afternoon of baseball. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton. My partner often says baby steps. And that's what the Marlins have to think about here, Tommy. You want to win the game, okay? That's a given. But you got to score a run. To score a run, you got to get on base. And the Marlins need baby steps today.
Yeah, you can't look at the big picture. You can't look at the overall 27 scoreless innings, 3 straight shutouts. We can talk about that, but you can't think about that on the field. Have to take baby steps, get on base, think the other way, maybe against Roy Halladay, and maybe create some things. But this has been a streak that, if you think about it, even some good teams have gone through scoreless streaks.
Yeah, historically for the Marlins, they're right on their record as far as scoreless streaks. The Marlins tying a franchise record at 27 innings. The Major League record, 68 Cubs, 1906 Phillies. But this year, the Dodgers actually went 33 games without scoring a run.
Yeah, the things that stand out to me there is that the Dodgers have had that 33 scoreless streak this year and 25 innings in 2003. So it can happen to a good ball club.
Matchup in this one, pitching matchup, is a real good one. Let's start with Miami's Mark Buehrle. And Buehrle gets the ball. He's not pitched well of late.
No, he's not. He's had a couple of opportunities to win games, but overall, an ERA of over 6 in his last 5 starts. At home, though, this is a good place for Mark Buehrle to pitch. He's 6-4 and has a nice 2.94 ERA right here at Marlins Park. And Roy Halladay coming back off the disabled list. He was on the DL for about 2 months, but his last 2 starts have been absolutely spectacular. 15 innings, he's given up just 5 hits and 1 run.
Sir Pizza pitching matchup. Baby steps against Roy Halladay. That's not always easy. So it's Halladay, it's Buehrle, it's Phillies, it's Marlins. It's an afternoon of baseball. Glad you're with us. Showdown, Miami and Philly. Let's start with Craig Minervini, Jeff Conine, all dressed in blue out there, boys.
All right, yeah, we don't want to be blue watching the Marlins here in the offense, though, because that's how it's been for the Marlins. It's been a tough streak. They've had a few chances in this series, a couple little plays that haven't gone their way, which could have led some runs. And ultimately in this series, since the Phillies haven't whacked the ball all over the park either, at least get big hits, maybe a win or two here.
Yeah, when you're struggling as mightily as the Marlins are, especially in the power department, you've got to do all the little things right. And a couple nights ago, we see Jose Reyes here. Donovan Solano does a good job of reading this ball, going all the way to third base, but Jose Reyes gets caught off of first base trying to score or go to second. He gets caught in a rundown right here. As the first baseman's going towards second, that's when Donovan Solano needs to break to home and try to score that run. Unfortunately, he's still stranded at third base with 2 outs.
And then this stolen base opportunity and a third out at third base is a baseball no-no. Ruggiano on the back end there. Then last night, just a great throw by Brian Schneider.
Yeah, an absolutely perfect throw. I mean, you want Jose to run. You want him to try and get in the scoring position. And Brian Schneider and Chase Utley made the perfect run, throw, tag combination.
Is the MO to pick your spots? That's not easy when you're being aggressive, because the other side of aggression sometimes is you're going to get thrown out.
Yeah, you still want to be aggressive. You still want to create some opportunities, but when those other opportunities arise, you don't want to make stupid mistakes.
No batting practice today.
I like it. The cage was locked. The lights were turned off. Guys, don't even think about hitting until the game time. You got Roy Halladay to worry about. Don't worry about your swing in the cage.
All right, we'll see how that plays into the game. Marlins trying to get a win. How about a run for starters? The Marlins facing tough Roy Halladay. Mark Burley pitching for the Marlins. We'll look for you on the Marlins post-game show right here on Fox Sports Florida. Thanks for joining us. See you in a bit.
Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealer today for great deals on Toyota vehicles. Toyota, moving forward. By AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. By Papa John's. Right now at Papa John's, buy any large pizza, even specialties, for only $12. By Nissan. Get to Nissan for the biggest savings under the sun at Nissan Summer Saving Days. Visit ChooseNissan.com. Ready to go? Mark Burley on the hill for the Fish. Burley after elusive win number 10. The last time Mark Burley won a game was the 14th of July, so about a month ago. He went out and beat Washington. Since then, lots of no decisions and a couple of losses. Those are his numbers. Start number 24 right now.
And I know the one thing, Rich, that he's really worked on in between starts, little delay as El Caballo was getting a little fix-up of his glove. Looked like he was getting some things done to his glove. But the thing that Mark Buehrle's really worked on is his changeup. He's been inconsistent with the changeup.
Jimmy Rollins, Kevin Franzen, Chase Utley for the Phillies. Pinch a penny brings you the first pitch. Buehrle likes to work quickly, and he likes to start things on time. And Mark Buehrle has missed with his first 2 pitches to Rollins. Jimmy Rollins last night opened the game with a home run, and that was it. A 1-0 win for the Phillies. Who would have thought that that second pitch would decide the game? But it did. Josh Johnson was terrific. Kyle Kendrick was outstanding. And the Marlins scoreless streak reached 27. Here was the second pitch of the game. Blink and you missed it.
Fastball, middle in. Jimmy Rollins with a solid swing. Home run number 14 on the year for him.
Buehrle didn't get that pitch, and it's in. The count's 3-2. Chad Fairchild's calling balls and strikes, and that pitch was in. Ground ball, third. Stop there. Dobbs loads up, fires across in time. Terrific play by Dobbs, who's playing in a lot of pain right now. And after he threw that ball, you could see him almost double over, but he made it. It's a 5-3 putout.
When you struggle with an oblique injury, you can kind of control it when you're hitting, because if you zone and get good pitches to hit, if you go out of the zone, you might stretch it a little more, but you can't control it as much in the field. And to make a play like that was nicely done by Dobbs.
Kevin Franzen as Buehrle misses outside. Franzen getting the start at third base. Former Giant prospect now getting time with the Phillies with Placido Polanco on the disabled list. Liner into right field. Stanton is there, and he makes a running catch. So 2 nice defensive plays behind Buehrle to open this ball game. Phillies lineup looks this way. You've seen Rollins, you've seen Franzen, now meet Chase Utley. There's been a Ty Wigginton sighting. He's in the cleanup spot. Hector Luna is in left field. A Marlin briefly. Dominic Brown in right. John Mayberry in center. Eric Kratz behind the plate. Roy Halladay hits ninth. And here is Utley. Utley a single last night. This is game number 39 for Utley. He had an RBI double in the 4-0 win. That on Monday night, and Buehrle gets a strike on the inside corner. It's 0-1. Utley, when it's all said and done, will go down as one of the great Phillies of all time.
That's a good pitch, by the way, for Mark Buehrle, that breaking ball to the left-handed batter. He needs that pitch.
It's an interesting matchup because Buehrle hasn't faced the Phillies much at all, and Utley only has 3 at-bats against him in his career. A swing and a
different
miss.
look, too, from Mark Buehrle.
Yeah. And a little different look from Chase Utley as the bat ends up out by El Caballo. A 1-2-3 inning for Buehrle. Miami and the Phillies here at Marlins Park. Marlins lineup as the Fish try to score a run. They haven't scored since Saturday. Brian Peterson leads it off. Justin Ruggiano's in center. Jose Reyes is at short. Carlos Lee at first. Giancarlo Stanton in right. Greg Dobbs at third. Donovan Solano slotted in the 7th spot. John Buck back behind the plate. And Mark Burley hits 9th. Not only hadn't they scored since Saturday, but now they've got to face Roy Halladay, who, despite a pedestrian 6-6 and 3.80 ERA, is back to being his own bad self.
Yeah, he is. He made a little tweak with his delivery. He's a little more up on top. And he pitched the last few starts before he went on the disabled list, not at 100%. And I think, as always, and we used to see this over the years against Greg Maddux, you have to get to these guys early in the count, if possible. That might be the best pitch you're going to see.
Peterson 1 for 3 in his career against Halladay. Now, Chad Fairchild had a tight strike zone for Burley's first inning. There were 2 or 3 balls that were in the zone, clearly, that were called balls. So it's interesting to watch how Halladay works. He's a guy that will, with all the sinkers, work on the edges, down by the knees, out on the outside part, and he's gone 3-0 on Peterson. As intense as you'll find on the mound. And Halladay throws a strike.
But also one of the best at making the adjustment sometimes between pitches.
Well, he missed with his first 3. And Peterson goes after the 3-1 pitch and lifts it in the air to center. Mayberry is out there, and he makes the catch. So 1 out. Ruggiano comes up, and here comes the Phillies defense, brought to you by the Cleveland Clinic, Florida.
There's Hector Luna, right-handed bat in the lineup. Mayberry and Brown. Kevin Franson and Rollins Utley. Ty Wigginton starts at first base, and Eric Kratz, who played the first game of this series, he's back behind the plate in this one.
As you heard Jeff Conine say on Marlins Live, no batting practice. The batting cages were locked. The Marlins coming to work, kind of a show and go game, trying to shake off this slump, which has seen them go now 27 2/3 innings without scoring a run. Ozzie Guillen really has his best lineup in there today. Ruggiano, Reyes, Lee, Stanton, Dobbs. 1-1 pitch, a swing and a miss. There's the breaking ball that Tommy talked about. Here's the scouting report.
That two-seamer certainly has sink. He throws a split-like change. Hey, he works fast, doesn't even give us a chance to get the scouting report out there.
And he has 2 outs in the books. These are 2 pitchers that if you bide your time, they will get upset.
The word on Halladay also, Rich, in his last outing against the Cardinals, a good hitting ball club. 8 innings, 2 hits, 1 run. His curveball was there. He threw some really good curveballs.
Here's a guy that has had success against Halladay. Reyes, 375 career hitter. In fact, Reyes, success against all 3 starters that the Phillies have run out there. Good numbers in his career. You see the numbers against Halladay. He had a hit against Kendrick last night and 2 hits against Hamels on Monday. So Reyes has been doing his part. There's been no one to drive him in or get him over. Counts 1-1. Kratz trying to hang on to that one. That one really dove down. It's 2-1. There's Reyes' season numbers.
There's that change with the split-like action that dives downward.
Halladay, and this is an amazing stat, has retired 57 of the last 64 hitters he's faced. But not Reyes, who singles to center. And his run against Halladay continues.
And you're right about Reyes. He was 2 for 4 against Hamels. He had a base hit last night. The other thing about Jose this year, The average from the right side down a little bit as to his normal, but he came into this game hitting over 300 from the left side.
We had the discussion around the All-Star break. Do you think Jose Reyes is going to finish the year above 300? And it has been a long climb, but he's getting there, Tom. He's been flirting at 290 here. Lee sends a line drive Franzen's way, and he snares it right on the shoe tops. So we're underway and hitting in the books. Phillies and Marlins scoreless. Brought to you by H.H. Gregg. In Miami, the Coventry Healthcare second inning. Mark Burley right back to work. First pitch ground ball Reyes' way, and he fires it to first in time. Ty Wigginton, a brief cameo appearance here in the second inning. Burley's retired all 4 that he's faced.
And how about Jose Reyes? I mean, he has that energy, an early start, and we talked about how he's hit. Look at that. Since the All-Star game, he's hit in 31 of 32. R.A. Dickey, the only guy that has shut him down the second half of the season.
That's amazing. Were it not for that R.A. Dickey game, he's got a 32-game hit streak. As it is, it's a scoreless ball game, and Burley flips up a breaking ball for a strike. It's 1-1 to Hector Luna. Luna's been a guy that Charlie Manuel's been able to plug in a lot of different places. And in this particular spot, he finds himself in left field. He came up when Nate Shearholtz was put on the disabled list.
Yeah, the Phillies playing some guys that were in AAA, Lehigh Valley. Franzen was there. Dominic Brown. Eric Kratz was there.
That went foul back into the seats. Burley's 2-2. Dobbs charging, fumbled it a bit, but got rid of it just in time to get Luna. That brings up Dominic Brown and Miami's defense.
Let's check on the defense. Brought to you by Cleveland Clinic, Florida, with Brian Peterson, Rusciano, and Stanton. Giancarlo starting this day game after a night game. How about changing things up? Let's go the other way. Carlos Lee, Solano, Reyes, and Dobbs. We'll go right to left this time, and John Buck's behind the plate. You got to change things up when you don't score.
Here's Dominic Brown. So I guess that's Burley's job, is to make sure that the Phillies don't score. Last night, Josh Johnson couldn't quite get it done. I mean, what a slacker he was in 8 innings. He gave up just the 1 run. Here's the 1-0 pitch.
The hard thing Rich, for a starting pitcher during times like this is to feel that pressure that his club isn't scoring runs. He has to just go out and throw his game. And I thought J.J. did a great job at that last night. And I know you and I, and in talking to a lot of people, we both thought Rob Brantley, the young catcher, did a good job handling him, too.
Right back to Burley. Fires it to first in time. 11 pitches for Burley in the second. Miami's coming up, bottom of the second, scoreless. Halliday gets Giancarlo Stanton, Greg Dobbs, and Donovan Solano. Halliday's faced Miami once this year and beat him, and Stanton pops the first pitch up he sees. I think both these teams having that approach, Tommy. They're going after the first pitch right away. You can play ball with Publix and the Marlins this season. Look for the Aquafina display at your local Publix for details on how you can enter for a chance to win a family 4-pack of tickets, on-field access, and the opportunity for your child to announce play ball at a Marlins game. Your scouting report was against Halliday, and I would say that the same is true against Burley. Get them early in the count.
Early in the count, sometimes guys like Burley and Halliday will try to get that first pitch in for a strike, and as I said, that might be the best pitch you see. There it is, early in the count.
And Dobbs lines one into left field for a base hit. Dobbs has had even though it's not a big sample size, he's had success against his old teammates. 5 for 10 is Greg Dobbs against Roy Halladay. And he took that one right into left field. You got to really respect a guy like Dobbs, who has been in there banged up the last couple of days. Here comes Solano.
Well, he realizes there are others that are banged up and can't play, and he realized he's needed in there.
Nick Green with the hand injury. This is a game, though, especially with the numbers, that Ozzie would like to have Dobbs in there. He is, and he's at first. And now Solano looking down to Joe Espada. How much does a manager put the game in motion or try to force things to get a run across?
That's a fine line. You don't want to force things and make mistakes. We've seen the Marlins do that at times. Ozzie has said the ball club has been too aggressive. But you have to do some things, and a lot of it depends on the combination of runners and hitters that you have, too.
And right now you've got Dobbs at first, but Solano's in an 0-2 hole against Halladay. Breaking ball in the dirt. Kratz smothered it. You talk about matchups. This is just the 12th time in Major League history that two pitchers who have thrown a perfect game are starting against each other. The last time it happened, Burley was involved. He and Dallas Braden hooked up on April 11th of last year. Our thanks to the folks at Stats for feverishly finding all those matchups for us. That's a roller towards short. And out there, Utley's turn not nearly in time.
Dallas Braden of the Oakland Athletics, who I believe threw his on Mother's Day. There have been some interesting perfect games. Jim Bunning threw a perfect game on Father's Day.
Now he's involved in one of the matchups. There are some names that carry through on this list. The first time it happened was 1966. Jim Bunning and Sandy Koufax. And then they met again later that year on October 2nd. Here's John Buck.
Koufax's was a unique perfect game because his was against the Chicago Cubs. It was a 1-0 win, and the Cubs left-hander Bob Henley gave up just one hit. So there's only one hit in the entire game.
That's amazing. But there was a long stretch before the next time two perfect game pitchers would meet. It went from 1966 with Koufax and Bunning to 1991 with El Presidente and Tom Browning. Then Kenny Rogers got involved and David Wells got involved, and those two guys matched up a lot against each other. Rogers faced Dennis Martinez in '96, so that's another 5-year gap. Another 4-year gap before Wells and Kenny Rogers met, and it would be Wells against Rogers 2 more times. The last one being 2001. Buck at the plate, counts 1-2. Solano's at first. And that pitch hit him, clipped his jersey, and he's on his way to first base. This copyrighted telecast presented by the Authority, the Miami Marlins, may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins.
So what you're saying, Rich, is we have a little bit of history going on here this afternoon.
Absolutely, and the two guys involved right now, Burley at the plate and Halladay on the mound. Of course, the Marlins remember Halladay's perfect game because it was against the Marlins. It was on the 29th of May back in 2010.
And the other unique thing about this matchup, not only has each thrown a perfect game, each has thrown a no-hitter. Halladay's in postseason against Cincinnati.
That's
and
right.
Mark Burley's.
Luna is there and makes the catch. So Burley pops out. Halladay's cruising. So is Mark Burley.
Es presentado en SAP por Coventry Healthcare of Florida.
Lunch is served here at Marlins Park. A little business person special. Folks watching a scoreless game. Let's check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
Rich, thanks very much. Tonight up in Jupiter, Emilio Bonifacio will start his rehab stint for that thumb sprain. He's going to play for the Hammerheads at 6:30 against Fort Myers. By the way, last night Donnie Murphy played 2 for 4. As for Bonnie, it's been a frustrating run here with this thumb, missing his 57th game here today. The good news is, though, when it was first thought in the second injury that he'd be out for the year, as you know, he's going to come back, and he tells us that he should be back and ready to go Sunday in Colorado. If Ozzie wants to get him in the lineup, he can. Donnie Murphy also may return from his hamstring strain at the same time. As I mentioned, Murphy had 2 hits last night, and that's good news. The decision for the Marlins are going to be which 2 will have to leave the roster if they decide to put both on there on Sunday. Guys?
Marlins certainly could use Bonifacio's spark back in the lineup, his energy, his speed.
Yeah, right now, Nick Green bothered with a thumb injury.
John Mayberry swings and misses. The 1-2. And Burley gets him. Second strikeout for Burley, and he's been outstanding so far. Right out of the chutes, Burley and Halladay seem to have their best stuff.
Well, Burley has faced 7. He's retired 7.
Colorado tomorrow. Actually, Colorado tonight, if the weather is willing and we get there on time. Marlins will play 4 games at Coors Field. And if the Marlins can't score runs at Coors Field, we know something is wrong. Yeah. And then they go to Arizona, which is a great place.
Which is another great place to hit. Two great hitting ballparks.
Eric Kratz fouls it at the plate. 90-mile-an-hour changeup for Burley. There's a lot of accolades that both of these pitchers have. In terms of career numbers, Halladay has the edge of wins, ERA, but Burley's right up there. A 4-time All-Star, 3 Gold Gloves, high pop, and Reyes is coming in, and he makes the catch. One of the numbers that we talk about with Burley is that he needs 1 win to get to 10. That would give him 12 consecutive years with 10 or more wins. That would tie him with CC Sabathia. Halladay is on a run of 7 consecutive years. Back in 2004, Halladay, with some injury issues, went 8-8, and that followed his Cy Young year with the Blue Jays of 2003.
Yeah, he had just 21 starts that year, so he's on a stretch of 9 of the last 10 years. 10 or more wins. Mixed in a couple of Cy Young awards, 1 in each league.
Now, I know the Phillies have other issues, but when Halladay went down, the Phillies went down. They were 15-27 when he was gone. Into right center field, Ruggiano trucking in, makes the catch, and Burley has retired all 9 that he has faced. That with 10 pitches. Inaugural season of Marlins Park. Choose your seats, pick up single game garage parking passes, and print it all from the comfort for your home or office. Everything is just a few clicks away. So head to marlins.com today. The Cuban sandwiches look pretty good. Little camera 12 for the kids. I think we got to change that shot. We'll get to that on the road trip.
We'll get to that a day game after a night game.
All right, here comes Miami now. The difference between the two starters, Halladay has given up a couple of hits and he's hit a batter, whereas Burley's retired everybody he's faced. And so this is the second time around for Peterson, Ruggiano, and Reyes. Pitch-wise, they're pretty close. Halladay 27 pitches. Burley has completed 3 innings. He's thrown 33. And Halladay throws a strike to Brian Peterson.
Now, I mentioned Roy Halladay winning a Cy Young in each league. Only 4 other pitchers have won the Cy Young Award in each league. Roger Clemens, Randy Johnson, Pedro Martinez, and Gaylord Perry.
Oh, 2 pitch is hit in the air to right field and deep, and it is foul. We apologize for the audio issues. That's what happens when we plug too many things in, like our iPad, our iPhone, electric razor.
And when we talk about guys like Clemens, Randy Johnson, Pedro Martinez, and Gaylord Perry.
All of a sudden stuff starts smoking, sparking, and blowing up. Here's the 0-2. Check swing. He went around. Peterson strikes out on a breaking ball. Halladay's really using that curveball today and using it with success.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes he'll come right at you with that good sinker, use his changeup. But you're right, and it might be a carryover from that game he had against St. Louis last time out, where he used the curveball a lot.
Now Ruggiano, and he struck out on a curveball. Goes after a high fastball and swings through it. And it's 0-1.
The fastball might not be there yet for Roy Halladay.
That pitch is.
Yeah, that one was. But you saw the velocity on that first fastball to Ruggiano was 88.
Well, if ever there's a guy for a right-hander, you know, there's the Moyers and the Burleys for lefties. But for a right-hander, if ever there's a guy that is an example that you don't need to throw mid to upper 90s, it's Halladay. And another breaking ball gets Ruggiano, who was way out in front. Halladay has 3 strikeouts, Ruggiano twice. Tico, the People's Gas, brings you the National League East standings. The Marlins not only mired in a scoreless streak, which is of epic proportions right now, but they're in the basement of the National League East. Breaking ball from Halladay, a strike to Reyes, and he had a base hit back in the first. Reyes in his career 13 of 33 against Halladay. Shoots that one to third. Franzen smothers it and fires across the diamond. That's another 10-pitch inning. These two guys know what they're doing, Halladay and Burley. Clinic fourth inning, appropriate because the Marlins have some guys really banged up in this ball game, and Gorkys Hernandez is in center field, and that means Justin Ruggiano has come out of the ball game. Jimmy Rollins at the plate. Remember, Ruggiano about a week and a half ago had back spasms that kept him out for 5 or 6 days. And I wouldn't be surprised on those big breaking balls if he may have aggravated it. There's the first hit of the ball game for the Phillies. Rollins strokes one into left. Let's take a look at Ruggiano's swings. This is the first swing of his last at bat against Halladay.
That was that fastball, that 88-mile-an-hour fastball. You can see the grimace on the swing and miss from Ruggiano.
And that looks exactly like the swings. Remember, he tried to play a game with the back spasms and took some swings. Went to a knee after missing on a curveball.
Well, all of a sudden, you look at that bench, and Ozzie Guillen has a very limited bench. You don't know the status of Nick Green. Hernandez is in the game. You need to hold back Rob Brantley. So basically, you have Cousins and Kearns.
And you're facing Roy Halladay. And that's an issue, too, moving forward. If Ruggiano is out for 3 or 4 days and Green still can't play, Dobbs is banged up, then the Marlins really have to think long and hard about getting an able body here that can play an assortment of spots. Ground ball, Solano to his left. Nice feed. Reyes' turn in time. Rollins with a good slide. He and Reyes out there at second base with a smile for each other. But Solano starts a nice double play. AT&T trivia question arrives. Phone flippers that we are. Only Philly to hit 2 pinch hit grand slams in 1 season. Well, there's 2 guys in the immediate history of the Phillies you think of, Matt Stairs and Greg Dobbs.
Good possibilities. You could go back a little further. You had Jay Johnstone, Ollie Brown, big right-handed bat.
Now, you were a very prolific pinch hitter for the Phillies.
More of the Greg Gross type of the line drive variety.
Any grand slams in your
No,
career?
not a grand slam. 3 pinch hit home runs, but not a grand slam.
Utley fouls it back.
By the way, that was a great turn, that double play.
It was, because, you know, Rollins knows exactly how to break up a double play. He's had plenty of guys do it to him.
Solano got it to Reyes, and then Reyes, hey, he knows the drill.
Utley gets a breaking ball and hits it pretty well. Hernandez back at the track, has room, makes the catch. Hit it a long way. 9 pitches for Burley. Brought to you by Kendall Toyota, West Kendall Toyota, bringing you today's Wednesday Showdown. By Coventry Healthcare of Florida, lighting the way to better health. And by Premium Rush, in theaters August 24th. On a day where the Marlins still haven't scored, they've gone 3 scoreless innings, stretching their run of scoreless innings to 30. And you've got 2 teams at the bottom of the East you would think ho-hum. But this is a very interesting storyline. You've got Roy Halladay against a team that just can't score. You've got Mark Burley, and both are lightning quick right now. They are just rolling through hitters. Miami has a couple of hits. The Phillies have just 1. Bottom of the 4th, Carlos Lee fouls the pitch off. It's 0-2.
Mark Burley has thrown 42 pitches in his 4 innings of work and has given up just the 1 base hit.
He has great pace, great tempo. He's been around the plate. And it took Halladay a little while to settle in, but it seems like he's locked in now. He bounces that breaking ball up there. Lee, Giancarlo Stanton, Greg Dobbs. Dobbs and Reyes have the 2 hits for the Marlins. Jimmy Rollins has the only hit for the Phillies.
Been a little rough stretch. We haven't seen too many from Carlos Lee. He's just 1 for his last 10.
Remember earlier in the telecast we were talking about the number of times 2 pitchers have met after having pitched perfect games, and the last time it happened was the White Sox in Oakland with Dallas Braden and Mark Burley. Well, during the break, Tommy Hutton posed the question, well, how about this? And our producer John Sulzer chimed in as well. How many times have pitchers met who have thrown a perfect game and a no-hitter? And the answer just arrived from Los Angeles from Stats. This is only the 3rd time in Major League history it's ever happened. And we were talking about Koufax and Bunning. Those were the other 2 times back in '66, or as Vince Scully would say, the year of our Lord, 1966. Bunning and Koufax met twice that year, and now Halladay and Burley meet here.
Of course, Mark Burley's perfect game against Tampa Bay and his no-hitter against Texas. Conversation going on at the plate. Curious what that might be about. Chad Fairchild, the home plate umpire.
Maybe it's about the count.
Crew chief Tom Hallion, he's at first base. He comes over to get in on the conversation.
And the conversation, obviously, Halladay feels like Carlos Lee should be back at home plate. As we check through our computers, one of the umpires is trotting over and is going to call upstairs to the scorekeeper.
Six pitches were thrown to Carlos Lee, and 4 of them were balls. There's a foul ball. That's a strike. Another. So quickly ahead, 0-2.
So this is the 0-2.
Keep track. Ball 1. Ball 2. He's tried to get him to chase a couple of curveballs. Ball 3 just inside.
That's ball.
Ball 4. Yeah, you see Tom Hallion saying, okay, ball 4.
So Lee has walked. Everybody returns back to their respective spots. There was no argument from the Phillies bench. The only guy questioning it was Halladay, which holds equal amount of weight, I would expect, with Halladay's status in the game.
Well, you have an opportunity, and you're not going to get many. Number one, Halladay created it himself to slow the pace down a little bit. And the Marlins with the opportunity to lead off man on base.
So Halliday's hit a batter. He's walked a batter. He's given up 2 hits. Stanton has seen 2 pitches. He popped the first one up back in the second. And Halliday with the 1-0 here. Hammered left field into the corner. Remember, that's Carlos Lee running around second. And he is just arriving at third base on a double by Giancarlo Stanton. Miami, though, is set up second and third. And maybe their best situational hitter, Greg Dobbs, coming up.
Well, there's that curveball again, but that one flattened out by Halliday. Was up a little bit, and a great area for Giancarlo to go after it. So scampering over to third is El Caballo. And boy, does that set up nicely, second and third with nobody out.
Look at that number. Dobbs 9 of 10 times. The news on Justin Ruggiano, right oblique strain. He's day to day. Dobbs drives it right field. That one's going to fall, a base hit. Here comes Lee. He will score. Stanton at third. Hallelujah. Miami has scored a run. There will be a brief ceremony behind home plate.
Get that monkey off your back. How about Greg Dobbs twice on his base hits? First pitch swinging. One to left field, that one to right field. Wow.
And Dobbs is battling an oblique. That's knocked Ruggiano out of the game. You can see Dobbs still in a tremendous amount of pain, but he's 2 for 2, an RBI single. And here is Solano now.
Dobbs now 6 for 11 in his career against Roy Halladay. In fact, that cutter got in on him just a little bit, but he drops it in front of Dominic Brown.
Solano at the corners, middle infield, back for 2. And a strike from Halladay. Last time the Marlins scored, it was Donovan Solano back on Saturday. And the same guy scored the run. Carlos Lee. Here, Dobbs drives in Lee, and Solano's up with a chance to do more damage. And when you get a chance against Roy Halladay, you better take advantage of it. Even a ground ball that turns into a double play would be welcome to get an extra run.
This is where contact is so important.
And Halladay knows that. He wants him to go fishing. Buried the breaking ball. And it's 1-2. Franzen even at the bag at third. You've got Wigginton holding Dobbs at first. Utley and Rollins looking for a ground ball. Solano hits a drive to left field. It's deep into the corner. Luna is there, and he makes a running catch. Everybody tags, including Dobbs, who gets there. Boy, every time Dobbs does anything, you see him there at second base, doubled over with his hands on his knees. Every time Dobbs does anything, the immediate reaction is one of, man, this really hurts.
Well, what a nice at bat from Donovan Solano. He gets a couple of things done. With 2 strikes, gets the ball deep enough to score Stanton from third, and also deep enough for Dobbs to go to second.
You can see it. Dobbs is still, I mean, deep breaths, just trying to get through this. Now Buck, and Dobbs at second base. A strike from Halladay. So 2 runs seems like a huge inning. I know it's not a crooked number. Those are usually 4s, 5s, and 6s. But putting 2 up on the board, pretty significant right now for Miami.
It's crooked enough.
Fastball misses down low. And it's 1-1 to Buck.
So the Marlins break the string of 30 consecutive scoreless innings.
Longest in club history, but not the longest in the big leagues this year.
Yeah, you had the Dodgers at 33.
Buck swings and misses. Watch Dobbs' reaction here. Whoa.
Ah.
That's not something you figure into your secondary lead.
Let's see, got the ball, got the shortstop. Oh, they got the bat coming at me.
Burley's on deck. Buck battling Halladay. And the Marlins have 2 runs here in the bottom of the 4th. That breaking ball, this is as much as I think we've ever seen Halladay throw his breaking ball in a start, and we've seen a lot of his starts.
Part of that could be because it doesn't look like he has his best fastball.
That's a pretty darn good one. 91, I think that's as hard as he's thrown all day long. And he gets it on the outside corner. Let's answer trivia. Our AT&T trivia question flies in. Only Philly to hit 2 pinch hit grand slams. How about Vaughn Hayes?
Another good guess.
All right, I'm a Vaughn Hayes guy. So
I go with Jay Johnstone.
Davy Johnson.
Davy Johnson. Wow. Davy came over after his stint in Japan. And as a teammate of Davies in '77, he did a good job off the bench then and was with the Phillies that next year in '78.
So were you guys on the bus squad together in spring training?
Yeah, the bus squad was more in Montreal, but we had the bomb squad in Philadelphia.
Oh, they were the bomb squad.
Oh, yeah, yeah. We had a lot of those Sunday games.
Or a game like this, a day game after a night game getaway, and you're facing Halladay, or in your day.
Tim McCarver was a part of that. Jerry Martin, really a good outfielder, had some power. Jay Johnstone, he played a little bit too much, but every once in a while we'd let JJ be a part of it.
Membership has its privileges. 0-2 to Burley. Miami has a couple runs, and Burley takes low and inside. The Marlins, the other thing they've accomplished here is they've really extended Halladay's workload. He's approaching 60 pitches. And that wasn't the case through his first 3 innings. Both he and Burley zipped through their first 3. Burley, in fact, has thrown just 42 pitches through 4 innings.
Yeah, Halladay has thrown 22 this inning.
Halladay's been dominant in his last 2 starts coming into this one. A 3-0 win against Arizona, a 3-1 win against the Cardinals. Burley pulls it, and it's picked up by Wigginton, and the inning is over. But Miami gets 2 runs for the first time since Saturday. The fish on the board. 5 starts. The ERA is at 1.60, yet he's 2-2. Marlins use JJ for an edge. You can keep your edge with Just for Men mustache and beards. Subway 5th. Greg Dobbs has been in the middle of a lot of things already in this one. Wigginton takes a strike as Burley is right back on the mound and working quickly. Wigginton, Hector Luna, Dominic Brown. And that ball is kissed left field and deep. Back goes Peterson at the wall, and it's gone into the bullpen. Ty Wigginton has homered, his 3rd career homer against Mark Burley in his 29th career at bat.
Yeah, Wigginton came into the game with 7 hits in 27 at bats against Mark Burley. 2 of those home runs. Now he's taking him deep for the 3rd time. And just like that, the Phillies cut the lead in half. Pitch was middle of the plate. Burley, Wigginton, who always hits so well at Sun Life, believe it or not, that's his first hit at Marlins Park. He'd been 0 for 7.
I wouldn't be surprised if the other night after the ballgame, if Wiggy took a taxi up to Sun Life and just walked out on the field trying to soak up some of that magic. He was just a dominant hitter in that building. Hector Luna's up. Burley at the knees gets a strike. 2-1. A lot of afternoon games in baseball. This is the first one in the National League. A little later on, the Nationals and the Giants out on the West Coast. Milwaukee and the Rockies are an afternoon start. So are Houston and the Cubs. Dodgers and Pirates tonight. That ball smoked foul. A little Olay from the ball boy there, and I don't blame him.
Don't blame him at all. What a nice game last night. The Giants left-hander Madison Bumgarner. Complete game, 5 hit. Gave up just 1 run to the Nationals.
Mets and Reds added tonight. Padres and Braves tonight. Arizona is in St. Louis. Three-two coming. Outside corner. That cut fastball came back just enough to catch the black. Burley has his 3rd strikeout of the ball game. With the lead at 2-1 right now. There's a look at the BB&T Fox tracks. Look at that pitch number 8. Right on the black.
It's a nice comeback after giving up the home run to Wigginton. Made some good pitches to Luna.
Here's of the National League East, and the Phillies, winning the first 2, have pushed 2.5 games between themselves and Miami. The Marlins at a season low 13 under, while the Phillies are 8 under. That breaking ball is up and in. Dominic Brown, our Cholula hot sauce spotlight player. A Florida native. And he's a nephew of Jim Mudcat Grant. Miami offered him a scholarship as a wide receiver. Pop up to left, Peterson makes the catch.
On the year, the Marlins have played the Phillies pretty well. Marlins have won 6 of the 11 games to this point against Philadelphia.
It's a pretty good matchup in San Francisco today. Mayberry swings at a changeup and misses. Although the numbers for Tim Lincecum aren't where they usually are. His ERA is at 5.35 and his record is 6-12. He can still show flashes as he has this year. And Steven Strasburg is at 2.90 and his record at 13-5. Burley is 1-1 pitch. By Reyes into center. Hernandez over to pick it up. And John Mayberry has a base hit. So the Phillies have done a little damage to Mark Burley here after Burley went 3 innings without a hit, 4 innings having faced the minimum. But a homer by Wigginton, a 2-out single by Mayberry. And here's Eric Kratz. Kratz pulls one foul. And a nice play.
Been a busy inning.
Yeah, he knew on that scorching line drive to get out of the way, but on that one he had the carom played perfectly.
We talked about this ballpark being a great place for Mark Burley to pitch too. Here at home he's 6-4, but he has an ERA at 2.94.
Got him leading. Mayberry away from first. Reyes to his left, shovels it to Solano to get the out, but the Phillies are on the board. Ty Wigginton's 10th homer of the season and a 2-1 game. For the only Philly run with a homer. Let's check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
Hey, Rich, thank you very much. Marlins Park, as we know, big dimensions. How's it playing out compared to other parks in the majors and its old stadium as well? You look at the numbers, homers per game, 26th in the league, a little less than you see Sun Life all the way on the right. Yankee Stadium has twice the amount of homers with the short dimensions there. Runs per game, about middle of the pack, similar to Sun Life. Coors Field, where they'll be heading next, way ahead of the field. The lowest is just over 6 runs in Seattle. And triples per game has been a good triples park, tied for 6th overall. Coors Field is the leader at .8. Citizens Bank Park, the Phillies offense is down. Of course, you've got to factor in the Marlins offense to the equation too, but over at Citizens Bank this year, they're only averaging about the same amount of runs, 8.4, middle of the pack, homers a little bit higher. And interestingly, even at Yankee Stadium, although they have all those homers, under 9 runs a game. So just some comparisons. Compare Marlins Park in year number 1. Guys?
Thank you, Craig. And as Craig pointed out, the Marlins just in their first year here, and in Citizens Bank Park, the Phillies haven't put up a lot of runs. That's a fly ball foul. But I think you also have to look at the fact that offensively the Marlins have been challenged this year.
Yeah,
and the Phillies have at times.
Yeah, I think that's the key thing to look at.
So in about 3 or 4 years, if this ballpark is at the same dimensions, that's, I think, when you take a look at runs scored, opponents, how they do in here.
And you take a look at your ball club as a whole. What type of club is it?
Which would beg the question, what type of club do you want in here? And as Ozzie Guillen said, going forward, the Marlins will be meeting shortly to talk about this year, what went wrong, where they need improvement, and what kind of ball club they want to field. And having watched a season of games in this ballpark, you would think that Guillen, Michael Hill, Larry Beinfest, all the baseball people will have an idea of when they go shopping and when they think about trades and think about signing guys as to what they want on the field. And just in talking to Ozzie, he leans towards more speed and maybe a little protection for Stanton.
Yeah, you definitely need protection for Giancarlo. And yeah, in our talks that we've had with Ozzie, he's brought up the 1980s version of the St. Louis Cardinals. They had the speed. They had Jack Clark, the big bopper, and then surrounded him with lots of speed and guys who could hit, guys who were good line drive hitters.
Peterson rolls it Utley's way and he throws him out. Up comes Gorkys Hernandez for his first at bat. Watch party on Friday. We'll be in Colorado, Marlins and Rockies. Why don't you head on down to Beaucamper Sports Grill on Pine Island Road in Plantation. Music, entertainment, prizes, and more. Gorkys Hernandez. And he pulls it foul. If you're just joining us, Justin Ruggiano left the ball game with a strained right oblique. He's listed as day-to-day. And Hernandez, who missed a ball game a couple nights ago as his wife delivered child number 2, looks at strike number 2.
Yeah, you watch Halladay, the way he's worked today, and I'm sure the Phillies would say the same thing, especially compared to his last 2 starts. He's not been as sharp as we've seen him in the past. He came into this game 5-3 in his career against the Marlins with a 2.40 ERA.
We were talking about Burley's resume and accomplishments, and 4 All-Stars, 3 Gold Gloves. Halladay, 8 All-Star teams, 2 Cy Young awards, and he won the Cy Young in both leagues, in Toronto in the American, the Phillies in the National League. 7 times he's finished in the top 5 in Cy Young voting. He was second last year.
That's the incredible number to me. The fact that 7 times he's had the kind of year that's warranted him top 5 in the Cy Young voting.
And I know Kershaw won the Triple Crown and all that, but Halladay's year last year with a 2.36 ERA, 32 starts, 19-9. Brown over there makes the catch. This season, Fox Sports is proud to support Boys and Girls Club of America, a place where youth can reach their full potential as productive, caring, responsible citizens. To learn more, please visit greatfutures.org/Fox Sports. Gorky Hernandez is out, and here's Reyes. Miami has 4 hits against Halladay. Reyes has 1. Stanton has 1. Greg Dobbs has a pair. Reyes drives that ball out to center. Mayberry over, and he makes the catch. 5 innings in the books. Halladay and Burley still dueling in a 2-1 game. Day showdown, an afternoon showdown. Mark Burley, first pitch. Roy Halladay, right field. Stanton almost overran that ball, but he reaches back and makes the catch. And Burley with 1 out. On 1 pitch, Mark Burley is throwing 64 pitches as he gets to the 6th inning.
Now, because the pitch count is down, it might be a little bit different, but this has been an area where Mark Burley has struggled. 3rd time around the lineup, batters are hitting over 350 against Mark Burley. In the 6th inning, his ERA has been over 7. But I think part of it today, he's got that pitch count down. It might be a little different story, and he has good stuff today. There's no question about that.
Rollins had the first hit back in the 4th inning, and Rollins dumps it foul and out of play. Burley had not pitched against the Phillies until this year, all the way back early in his White Sox career. But he started 3 times this year and is 1-2 against him. You got to go back to 2004. He had been 3-0 going into this year. Reyes backs up. Rollins, wow, is not running well. He's trotting down to first. I don't know if Jimmy Rollins is hurt.
I'll tell you what, if he's not hurt, he may have a conversation with his manager, Charlie Manuel. Wow. He doesn't look like he's hurt.
Earlier in his career, he didn't run out a ball, and Charlie Manuel yanked him out of a ball game. And I remember at the time, Rollins said, Charlie's right. There's a bunt by Franzen, and Burley can't handle it. That's an odd sight, watching Burley have that one roll out of his glove, but it would have been an incredible play, though we've seen Burley make those in his career.
Yeah, he's trying to get his body in position. Watch him shift his feet. It's going to be a base hit all the way. But it's going to have to be a perfect play, and even if he does that, I'm not sure he throws out Franzen. Mark Buehrle has thrown 4 pitches or less to 16 of the 20 batters he's faced, and he's only had 2 3-ball counts.
Utley, first pitch swinging. Pulls it foul. It's 0-1.
Can't wait to talk to Buehrle after the game. We'll have time on our flight to Denver. To me, it appears this is one of the few times I've seen him drop down a little bit to left-handed hitters. He's done it all day to Utley.
Remember when Utley struck out in the first, he ended up throwing his bat out near second base. As I told you, Buehrle doesn't have a lot of history against the Phillies, so for Utley, there's not a real big body of work to go back to. He's 1 for 5 in his career against Buehrle. Ryan Howard, who was not with the ball club, he and Utley, of course, both injured earlier in the season, has never faced Buehrle. Howard getting the day off, at least so far.
Got a feeling that big bat will be ready if needed in the 8th or 9th inning off of Heath Bell or Steve Cishek.
Well, the Phillies certainly have more bats to call upon late in this game than Miami does. With Ruggiano coming out with an injury. Nick Green banged up. These are 2 guys as well that are up there on the career wins list. Buehrle is at 170. He's 170 and 130 in the loss column. Halladay is 194 and 98. Halladay is right behind Andy Pettitte. Well, not right behind him, but he is behind him on the career wins list of active pitchers. Pitch didn't miss by much. He had 2 guys going in different directions. Utley was going to first. Buehrle was going to the third base dugout. And that was pitch number 6, which is, man, when the ball's up against the black, it's supposed to be on the black, but it's really hard just looking at that to see if it's touched it.
Can't remember the batter. There was one like that earlier in the game that was right in that same area that was a strike.
That's really splitting hairs, though. I mean, we get to look at a computer. The guy behind home plate doesn't.
He's looking at it in a split second. I think Hector Luna was the hitter earlier in the game where it was a strike.
It's significant because it brings Wigginton up, and he homered his last time up. And he watches that breaking ball low, and it's 2-0. But just by the way Wigginton is taking pitches right now, you know that he feels comfortable against him. Wigginton just this year against Buehrle is 3 for 10 with 2 homers this year.
We were talking about his numbers at Sun Life. 333, 7 career home runs in that ballpark.
Wigginton fouling off that changeup and it's 2-2. Last night the Marlins got 8 innings from Josh Johnson. He was terrific. Gave up just the 1 run and 3 hits. Off-speed pitch, lined into left field. That's a base hit. Peterson up with it. Here comes Franzen. Here comes the throw to the plate, and he's in there. And this game is tied. That's the significance of that ball 4 call. It brought Wigginton to the plate, and he's the guy in the Phillies lineup that has hit Burley the best. He's driven in both runs in this game.
And we've also, Rich, gotten to that crucial point in the game for Mark Burley. 6th inning, 3rd time around the batting order, where the numbers just haven't been good. And the Phillies come up and tie it just like that.
Luna takes a breaking ball for a strike. Those are the ERAs by inning, and as Tommy pointed out, 3rd time through, which usually happens in the 5th or the 6th inning. That's been the trouble spot for Burley.
And it's an area where he's pitched around before. It hasn't always been that way.
One and 2. Change up, and now he is 2-2 to Luna, who has struck out and bounced to 3rd.
Add them up. The first 4 innings, 42 pitches, 44 pitches the last 2 innings.
Breaking ball, center field. Hernandez back there and makes the catch. But Ty Wigginton strikes again, and he ties this game at 2 apiece. And it's the bottom of the 6th. Ty Wigginton, a home run, an RBI single, Marlins have scored. There was a brief ceremony, and the game continued. The scoreless streak snapped at 30. They got those runs against Roy Halladay. And Carlos Lee was the guy that started it all by walking to lead off that 4th inning. During the break, down the stretch, watch Billy. Never fun to take a claw to the oblique.
Nah, especially when you're not expecting it. There have been enough oblique problems on the Marlins as it is.
Lee fouls it back. Carlos Lee is lined out, and that walk came in the 4th. It was a Lee walk. Stanton then doubled. Greg Dobbs broke the streak appropriately. Dobbs is now, what, 10 for 11? With a runner at 3rd and less than 2 outs and getting that run home. Dominic Brown into foul territory. And he makes the catch. All My Sons Moving and Storage always brings you the poll question. And here it is. Do you think the Marlins will keep Carlos Lee after this season? Yes, no, not sure. And as we've talked about, a lot of it depends on the health of Logan Morrison and the asking price by Carlos Lee.
You've got to determine where you want Logan Morrison to play. And if it's first base, then Carlos Lee's out of the question. If it's not first base, and then you're right. You have to consider the financial part of it.
Because Carlos Lee may say, well, you know what, I like playing here, but I need a 2-year contract. And if somebody calls him that's, relatively close to his home of Panama, that's important to him, and says, we'll give you a 2-year contract. What if Texas were to call?
I think he'd be there. He could DH there a little bit, too.
That's the key, I think, for him in the American League, is being able to DH. One-two pitches down low. Giancarlo Stanton doubled in the 4th.
How about Houston? Because they'll be in the American League next year.
Swing and a miss. Stanton slaps his bat.
I was talking last inning about how watching Roy Halladay, we're probably not seeing the sharp Roy Halladay, but you know what? It's a 2-2 game, and he's only given up 2 runs on 4 base hits. So that's how good he is. And when he needs to make a pitch, he made a perfect pitch on a fastball that tied up Stanton, that last pitch to strike him out.
Dobbs, right field. That's deep. That is gone. Have a day, Dobber.
First pitch every at bat.
And Greg Dobbs, a solo shot, gives Miami the lead. Sore oblique and all, Dobbs is 3 for 3 with 2 RBI.
And Rich doing it against his former club, the Philadelphia Phillies. He has taken the approach, early swings against Roy Halladay. All 3 of his base hits today have been on the first pitch.
Solano shoots that one foul. Wow, he really got that one too.
That one stayed up a little bit. It was a good pitch to hit, and just enough.
Solano shoots it the other way. Brown racing towards the line. Has it. Makes the catch. Inning over, but not before Greg Dobbs gives Miami the lead back. He's not 100%. He's got a sore oblique, and he's facing one of the best pitchers in the game, and he's 3 for 3. He's driven in 2.
Third 3-hit game of the year, and he's taken his average from 292 up to 302.
And so Mark Burley has the lead back. Let's see how he does in the 7th inning. As Tommy pointed out, the 6th inning's been an issue for him. Bouncer out towards Solano, who gets to first quickly. And there's an out here in the 7th. John Mayberry, Eric Kratz also coming up for the Phillies. There's Ryan Webb. We told you earlier in the telecast, this is only the 3rd time that 2 pitchers who have thrown a perfect game and a no-hitter have faced each other in Major League history. The other 2 games, it was the same matchup in the same year, 1966. Sandy Koufax, Jim Bunning. And our thanks to the folks at Stats. Aaron Charlton for helping us out, and Tim Baser for, in Aaron's word, doing code on this, which is got to be.
That's some secret message. We'll see Aaron in L.A., won't we?
It's the 2-0. It's a strike. It is a secret message.
Yeah.
It's like, quit bothering us with these questions.
Bother us when you get to L.A. Won't we see Aaron in L.A.?
We will. Aaron's usually in the booth for us.
All right.
Here's the 2-1. That's hit hard left, and Peterson is there. Boy, Mayberry barreled that one up. Burley gets allowed out, and now he's got Eric Kratz in the 8th spot. Counts 0-1. Here's the 1-1. Change up, pulled to third. Dobbs on the job, throws it high. El Caballo apparently kept his foot on the bag. 9-pitch inning. And Burley sails to the 7th. and Kendall Toyota. 3-2. Miami on top. If it's first class hospitality you're looking for your clients, or you want to catch a ball game and catch a home run in the home run porch, experience Marlins baseball with a variety of affordable group packages. 1-877-Marlins, the number to call. Roy Halladay delivers. John Buck takes a strike. Buck, the 9 spot and the leadoff spot, and that 9 spot, of course, is Mark Burley's, and he's not on deck. So it looks like 96 pitches and 7 innings is enough for Mark Burley. And Mike Dunn is up in Miami's bullpen. For Roy Halladay, his day has included 93 pitches. He's trying to get his 7 innings in the books while the Phillies bullpen starts to get rolling. Buck swings and misses, and he strikes out for the 2nd time.
There was a good example of talking about first pitch swinging as Burley talks things over in the dugout. The best pitch that John Buck saw to hit was that first pitch.
Scott Cousins now. And Halladay misses outside with a fastball. This has been the Greg Dobbs and Ty Wigginton show. Dobbs 3 for 3, RBI single, solo homer. Wigginton has a solo homer and an RBI single. And Cousins shoots one into left field. So a pinch hit, base hit for Scott Cousins. Toyota trend. The Phillies 7 road shutouts lead Major League Baseball. The club record is 12. 2 of those have come in the last 2 ball games.
Yeah, they have. I was just thinking, with Scott Cousins getting that base hit against Halladay, he had a start in Washington, D.C. against Steven Strasburg and had a couple of hits off Strasburg.
You got Cousins that can run a bit, and you've got Peterson, a good contact guy at the plate. And Halladay misses away, and you also, Tommy, have the other variable, and then you've got a pitcher that's around the plate. If you want to hit and run, now's a good time.
1-0, you get a pretty good chance you're going to see a hittable pitch.
Counts 2-0. And Halladay has missed 3 times outside. Remember, he missed with the first 3 pitches of the game that he threw to Brian Peterson. There's Gorky Hernandez on deck. So 3-1 now. And if you're going to put something on, now's not a bad time to do it. Halladay steps off. Of course, a hit and run on 3-1 is tough to do.
It becomes a run and hit.
Yes. He's running, and Peterson is hitting. Drives it out to left. Luna settles under it and makes the catch. Fox Saturday Baseball returning this Saturday. The Red Sox and the Yankees, or the Pirates and the Cardinals. Fox Saturday Baseball presented by Budweiser returns August 18th, 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. Check your local listings for the game and the start time in your area.
Rich, with all the stuff you've read over the last few days about Bobby Valentine and the Red Sox and his situation there, can you see him being back there next year?
Unless the Red Sox go on an incredible run and make the postseason or really challenge at the end, I'm not sure. Cousins is running. The pitch is taken out. The throw is high, and he's in there with a stolen base.
Good job by Scott Cousins. Nice jump. Straight on slide. Beats the throw from Eric Kratz.
First stolen base this season for Cousins, who, as the Marlins go to Coors Field, if Justin Ruggiano's oblique has him out for a couple of days, Cousins should get some more playing time. Hernandez takes a strike. Now the count evens at 1-1 strike.
Now the Marlins, the first 3 games of that series, we'll see a righty, then a lefty. Let's see Alex White, Jeff Francis.
One and two. Burley struck out 3. Halladay has punched out 6. Both have given up a solo homer.
Yeah, you're right. A lot more curveballs.
That's been his featured pitch, especially to all the right-handed hitters. This is Hernandez's second at bat. Ruggiano struck out his first 2 times out and then was taken out of the game with that injury. That's outside corner. And that's a nice pitch. If that's the last pitch that Halladay throws in this ball game, he's had a nice day. So has that man. Mark Burley's day is done. Mike Dunn's day is just beginning. Let's check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
Well, Rich, the Miami Lighthouse for the blind and visually impaired are here at the ball game today. This is Richard Davis. This is one of the supervisors and managers bringing your group 26. It's camp week. It's a fun week for some of the kids. How neat is it to come here, and what kind of experiences for your group?
Oh, it's been a wonderful experience. The kids, they got a chance to go on a tactile tour, which was a fun experience. They got on the field. They got to see everything behind the scenes and spend a day with the folks here at Marlins Stadium. We definitely want to thank Mr. Sampson and the whole Marlins family.
Some of the children have no vision. Some have some vision. You've used your other senses today. I saw you go out and touch the grass. They brought up baseball equipment for you guys to touch and feel.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's so many things that, you know, the sighted folks, they really take for granted because you can see, but a lot of our kids, they got a chance to learn a lot of new things and experience things that they would have never had the chance before.
Some of the kids have radios. Some here, I don't know if you can see me here, have these monoculars where they can zoom in and maybe get a better eye on the action as well. How are they enjoying the experience?
They're having a great time. I mean, that's basically all I can say. They're having a really, really fun time.
What was the neatest thing, Richard?
I think the neatest thing was getting out there on the field and being able to touch the grass, touch the bases. Those are things that, I mean, if you don't have those visual clues, you wouldn't know otherwise unless you were able to
You wouldn't even
touch.
think of doing it.
No, you wouldn't. So, I mean, this was a very unique opportunity for the kids, and it was a great way to round up the summer camp.
Well, you're doing a great job. It's the Miami Lighthouse for the visually impaired. And Richard, nice to see you, and glad the Marlins can enjoy you.
My pleasure. I hope we can come back soon.
Okay. Rich, Tommy?
Thank you, Craig. Juan Pierre is in the ball game. And Mike Dunn delivers a breaking ball. Pierre pops it third base side. Dobbs on the run. And it's a foul ball.
The reason that Mike Dunn, the left-hander, comes into this game is because, and you look over on Charlie Manuel's bench, Pierre, Nix, Ryan Howard, Brian Schneider. He has a switch hitter, Michael Martinez. So Ozzie counters and brings in Dunn, so he gets the matchup in his favor. Dunn against Pierre.
JP fouls it back. Oh, 2 pitch. Breaking ball got him. Dunn strikes out Pierre. And that brings up Jimmy Rollins. 1-run ball game here in the top of the 8th. Miami had not scored a run since Saturday. Were shut out on Sunday by Chris Capuano and the Dodgers. On Monday by Cole Hamels and these Phillies. And last night, Kyle Kendrick, Josh Lindblom, and Jonathan Papelbon shut out Miami. And so today they had to face Roy Halladay. Broke through with 2 runs in the 4th. Phillies tied the ball game. Ty Wigginton knocking in a couple of runs. And then Greg Dobbs homering, his 3rd hit, his 2nd RBI, and that's how these two teams have arrived here at 3-2.
I think the reverse lock effect has kind of been in play here this afternoon.
That is the can't score against Kyle Kendrick, but have a 3-2 lead against Roy Halladay.
Can get 3 against Halladay, yeah.
I'll tell you what, Kyle Kendrick with the win in last night's ballgame is 9-2 in his career against the Marlins. That's the highest winning percentage against the Marlins for any major league pitcher with at least 10 decisions. How about that? I think that puts him right on the all-time Marlin killer list.
So with Ty Wigginton here and a couple of guys over in that dugout.
2-2 is fouled. Back up here. We have yet to get a foul ball. You can hear that.
That's about as close as we've come to one. Guys down below us playing the carom.
That one fouled back. That one is shy of us. Yeah, we don't have one yet. The folks down there, they've been able to get everybody okay down there. They've been able to get a few of them. But we have not had one all the way up here. It's coming, though. I think it's going to take a Giancarlo Stanton.
Yeah.
The 2-2. That one almost hit Rollins. Three-two. One of the things you notice about starting pitchers and relief pitchers, the differences between the two, and it's really evident in a start by Burley and Halladay, is the pace at which relief pitchers work compared to starting pitchers. Why is that?
I have no idea. I mean, if I were a relief pitcher, it's almost like they come in and this is going to be their stage for however long it takes, and they're going to stretch it out as long as they want because they can.
But it's not just.
I don't know, and I'd love to see a reliever come in and work like Burley.
It's not just the Marlin relievers; it's
everybody.
Dunn misses in. It's Kevin Franzen.
But it changes, to me, it changes the whole pace of the game. Your defense is out there for much longer. You're waiting around a lot longer if you're playing behind someone working slowly.
Now, sometimes it's because relievers come in with guys on base, but that doesn't happen that much.
Not as much anymore.
In this day and age, most guys come in to start an inning. It's usually the lefty specialists that come in, or even a righty specialist. It's a pretty good move and a pretty close play. Having watched Rollins for the last couple of innings, haven't seen any limp or anything to indicate that he's injured. Remember, he jogged out a ground ball.
Yeah, he jogged
early in the ball game. And he bluffs. Fastball taken for a strike. It's 1-1. Two and one.
Been trying to go over in my head some relievers that work quickly.
Does working from the stretch change pace?
It does, and I also know that a lot of times when a reliever comes in, it's a key moment of a game with runners on, so the catcher's looking over to see if he wants to get a pitch out and all those things. There are more things happening a lot of times.
Here's the 2-2. Up the middle, Solano. Reyes, the turn is in time, and Mike Dunn gets a nice double play to finish off the Phillies in the 8th. Burley and Halliday starts.
That's interesting how things happen. A little hit batter. El Caballo to third on the double by Stanton. He comes in to score. Great at bat, I thought, by Donovan Solano. The sacrifice fly, that was with 2 strikes. To get that ball deep enough, just like that, the Phillies get back in the game. A solo shot by Ty Wigginton, but 402 feet later, off the bat of Greg Dobbs. He's had a 3-for-3 afternoon. He has been just terrific today.
3-2 Marlins now in the bottom of the 8th. And the fish will try to add some insurance. Jose Reyes, Carlos Lee, Giancarlo Stanton. And out of the bullpen is B.J. Rosenberg. Rosenberg fires a fastball for a strike. This is the rookie season for Rosenberg. Made his major league debut in early June in Baltimore.
Watched him warm up. Pretty good fastball and slider.
Reyes a 1-for-3 day. And a fastball that spins him out of the way. We had just thinking back to last night, sometimes you get an email or a tweet on an email Twitter Tuesday and you don't get to it. One of the questions I saw that we didn't have a chance to get to was, how did the aquariums look from left field? How noticeable were they? And to be honest with you, I didn't notice them at all.
I never did.
They're tinted and they're also angled so that there will not be reflection that bothers any of the fielders. And for us in left field, sitting ground level, we didn't even notice it. Reyes walks. That opens up the 8th. Rosenberg steps off, and thus we'll test our theory that relief pitchers work a lot slower than starters. I'll tell you one guy out of the bullpen, we was thinking about this, that is noticeably different and then works quickly, probably because he's been a starter his whole career. That's Carlos Zambrano.
Yeah, absolutely.
When he's come out of the bullpen, it's take the ball, get up there and throw it just like he's making a start. You wonder what would happen if a reliever were to make a start. Chris Hatcher in Miami's bullpen.
Wade LeBlanc did a good job.
Well,
he's even faster as a starter.
Right, but as a reliever, you're right. He worked quickly as well. Carlos Lee bangs it into center field. Reyes puts it in gear. On his way to third. Good throw by Mayberry. He is safe. Just got in there. Reyes asked for time. Great hustle. And a very good throw from John Mayberry Jr.
The thing about Jose Reyes, he knows this is a deep outfield. Outfielders are back a little bit. He knows the kind of speed he has. He picks up Mayberry right there. Makes the decision to go ahead and go for third. And you're right, it was a real easy, accurate throw by Mayberry, but Reyes just got under the tag.
Here is Giancarlo Stanton. Well, the hopes of the San Francisco Giants having a strong finish just took a bit of a hit. News crossing MLB Network reporting, Melky Cabrera has been suspended 50 games for testing positive for excessive testosterone. That hit the home plate umpire, and that can't feel good for Chad Fairchild. And his buddies are coming in, and the Marlins trainer out to check on him. That left arm shoulder area took the brunt of that pitch. Watch this. Kratz flat out missed it. Ow. And that's not a deflection either. The ball
that was dead on.
When the ball drops right in front, you take full force of that.
Boy, that is a blow to the San Francisco Giants, and then, you know, to baseball too, because the first thing I'm thinking of when I hear that, remember how lousy he was with the Braves, and then how great he was, over 200 hits with Kansas City, and then another terrific season this year.
Yeah,
and that's what you think about.
All of a sudden you question as to whether he cheated to get where he is and make those improvements. Obviously you don't know, but Melky Cabrera suspended 50 games. Stan, a high chopper, and it's into left field, a base hit. Reyes will score. Lee stops at second. There's your insurance run. And it's 4-2. And B.J. Rosenberg has yet to get it out.
And a 2-hit game for Stanton today. Had the big double back in the 4th inning. This one, he gets so much topspin that once it hits the ground that way, it had no problem getting over the head of the third baseman, Kevin Franson.
And Charlie Manuel comes out and takes the baseball, and he'll dip further into the Phillies' pen. 4-2 Miami, bottom 8. Back after this. Marlins Live presented by Checkers. No one at their posts yet, but they'll arrive shortly out in center field. Antonio, or actually Raul Valdez has arrived.
Yeah, Valdez, fastballs and sliders. And it'll be interesting to see if Dobbs swings at the first pitch. Of course, it's a completely different pitcher in Valdez.
Dobbs has seen 3 pitches today.
Seen 3 pitches. He has 3 hits. I shortchanged him. His home run was 407 feet. I think I said 402. So 407 on the home run by Dobbs his last time up.
Roy Halladay, 7 innings, 3 runs. B.J. Rosenberg does not get it out here in the 8th. Well, we won't shortchange Greg Dobbs. We will give him the Warren Henry drive of the game. That's the third pitch he saw in the ball game. That's his third hit of the game. And that's the home run. One of the things about distances in this ballpark, when you look out where Dobbs hit it, it's 392 at the end of the bullpen.
That's a long way out there.
It is a long way, and you got to remember the fence is 12 feet high. And so it's not only a long way, but you got to get it up and over a tall wall, which gets bigger progressively into center field.
And by the way, we never want to shortchange the most interesting man in baseball, Greg Dobbs.
Dobbs in there today against Halladay, delivering with 3 big hits. Carlos Lee with Stanton at first. There's nobody out. And Dobbs fly ball to center. That should be, well, I'm not sure. Lee is tagging. Mayberry has it. Lee is running. Mayberry's throw. Stan's going to come all the way to second, and he's going to get there. Nicely done. Mayberry overshot the cutoff man. Figured he'd take a shot at Carlos Lee, and Stanton was sneaking up. And once he saw no one was going to cut it, look out, Tommy.
All right, you think about it, you know what you can do. You know your limitations, and Carlos Lee said, you know what, that's deep enough. I can go 90 feet. I can get over to third base and talk to Joe Espada. But the alert play also was Giancarlo going from first to second.
Eric Kratz out there talking to Raul Valdez. Infield is going to come in, you would expect, with 1 out in a 2-run game.
And again, you always look for different ingredients to put on plays. Of course, they're going to walk Solano intentionally. So no chance for a squeeze here, and there's not going to be a squeeze with John Buck when he comes up either.
Just in looking and reading a little more on the Melky Cabrera suspension, the Giants have 45 games left in the regular season, so he's gone for the rest of the regular season.
And before you even go on, he should be gone for postseason too.
If the Giants get there.
If they get there. Just my opinion.
Giants had a similar issue, although he didn't test positive. Remember, Jose Guillen, I want to say it was back in 2010 late. There's the suspension. That was for receiving shipments of HGH.
Melky Cabrera leading the National League coming into play today with 159 base hits. Second to Andrew McCutchen with a .346 batting average.
Phillies going to the bullpen again.
They're going to the Schwimmer.
Nice. On top, the Phillies have been rotating relievers. This is the third reliever to work in this inning. Michael Schwimmer, as Tommy aptly dubbed him.
Well, you saw the move, the intentional walk, and then with the right-hander, John Buck coming up. Charlie Manuel goes to his bullpen. He brings in the right-hander. He's got his infield looking for a double play.
Bags loaded, and Buck swings and misses. Buck was hit by a pitch and has struck out twice. A ball and a strike. You've got Carlos Lee. He singled. Reyes walked to set up the inning. Stanton single. Provided a run. Dobbs' fly ball moved everybody up. Solano was intentionally walked. And it's 2-1. We were talking about the Giants and that obviously Cabrera having a much better season than Jose Guillen was having in 2010. But that was, as I remember, one of the ways that Cody Ross got some more playing time in late September. Guillen had a neck issue and had that HGH shipment issue. And Ross, of course, got in and got hot.
And that worked out pretty well.
Had the great postseason. Counts 2-2. And Buck check swing. That's close. He did go, says Tom Hallion. And so John Buck has struck out 3 times. This one really hurts with the bases loaded and 1 out. That's close.
Yeah, that's close. He just couldn't hold it back.
Ozzie got a pinch hit here with Austin Kearns.
Austin Kearns has put together a nice pinch hitting season so far. 7 for 21 off the bench.
Lifts that one in the air to right. Dominic Brown. And it's out of reach. And a heck of a play.
You know, the one thing about that Melky Cabrera story, Rich, it does tell you that, yeah, testing continues to go on. And if guys are using, they're going to get caught. Nice. Speaking of getting caught, that's a nice play by the fan down there.
John Paul Morosi on Fox.com saying that the suspension of Melky Cabrera, the most notable since Manny Ramirez in 2009. Counts 0-2. Fastball is up. Ken Rosenthal reporting that Cabrera has taken responsibility in his statement, saying that my positive test was the result of my use of a substance that I should not have used. That's a lot more refreshing than it was a protein shake with something that was in it that I had no idea it got in there. I don't know how it got into my smoothie. Here's the 1-2. Breaking ball. Kearns lines it into left field. That's a base hit. Scoring is Lee. Right behind him. Here comes Stanton, and he is going to score. And Austin Kearns continues to deliver in a pinch. And Miami has cracked this one open. Boy, 6 runs seem like 16 runs today.
Hanging slider, and Austin Kearns with his 8th pinch hit of the year, and a big one to drive home 2. Throw kind of sailed a little bit. Giancarlo able to score. Good solid AB. Another one from Austin Kearns. Pinch hitters have done a nice job today. Scott Cousins had a pinch hit and a stolen base back in the 7th inning.
Brian Peterson now 2nd and 3rd. Solano's at 3rd with Kearns at 2nd. And Schwimmer gets a strike. Peterson 0 for 4. 9 hits, 6 runs for Miami. Though the Marlins didn't need Greg Dobbs to drive in a run in this inning, it was Dobbs' deep fly ball that helped move the inning along and push 2 runners up a base each, with Lee and Stanton going from 1st and 2nd to 2nd and 3rd. Steve Cishek, if you look right between the crack of those poles, you can see him. There he is.
Well, it's been a nice battle today with the lineup and the extra men that Ozzie was given today. Having been shut out 3 games in a row, it's been a nice, refreshing game. Some good ABs, some good hits, and a terrific job by Mark Burley, who looks like he's going to get that 10th win.
Peterson fouls it back. (0-2) to Brian Peterson. That one fouled out of play. (0-2) coming. Well, a game that was speeding along with Burley and Halladay matching each other. Marlins got the first 2 runs. Phillies came back. Ty Wigginton driving in a couple with a base hit and a homer. And it's really slowed down with the Phillies trading relievers, try to patch together this 8th inning.
Now they've used 3 different pitchers in this inning.
Peterson lines it left center field, and it falls for a base hit into the gap. Peterson drives into, and you had to think Peterson on his way to first was thinking that ball will be caught. And even when he dove for it, he had to be thinking that ball will be caught. He's hit 2 weeks worth of balls like this that have been caught. And it's 8-2 Miami.
I tell you, you're running around first base, and you're right. You're Brian Peterson. That's exactly what you're thinking. And then just out of the reach of Mayberry, so he gets the base hit, a double, and he drives in 2. Great job, great going, Petey. He deserves it.
Gorkys Hernandez is the 9th man to come to the plate. There's the skid mark from Mayberry in left center field.
A few of the Philly pitchers are thinking about Shane Victorino and how he probably handles that ball.
That's right. The Gold Glover. One and two with 2 outs. Gorkys Hernandez. Miami has put up 5 runs here in the 8th.
You know, the last time the Marlins won the middle game of that Dodgers series, they scored 7 runs. They won that game 7-3.
The 2-2 is low. The count's 3-2. Up the middle into center field, a base hit, and the runs just won't stop coming now. Peterson scores. Gorkys Hernandez with an RBI single. And Miami finally erupting after 30 innings without a run, after 3 days without a run. The Marlins hang 9 on the Phillies in a Roy Halladay start nonetheless.
Good job by Gorkys to take it up the middle. The Marlins scored 13 in New York against the Mets. But other than that, it's been slim pickings.
Schwimmer with a changeup that misses outside to Reyes. So 9-2. I think everybody can exhale now. And the Marlins hit the road. They go to 2 of the best hitting parks in the National League, Coors Field, Chase Field, and then finish the road trip at Dodger Stadium. Reyes 1 for 3 with a walk. It stays 1-2. Ken Rosenthal reporting on the Melky Cabrera suspension, pointing out that Cabrera would be eligible to play in the 6th game of the postseason, but he would not be in game condition, and by then all the minor league seasons would have been over. Plus the Giants would have to leave a roster spot open, and as Rosenthal sums it up, by then that would be tough to justify. I think you had pointed that out in a little stronger language.
That's right. Well, I don't have the verbiage that Ken Rosenthal has.
Or the bow tie. Counts 3-2. Reyes hooks one. Wigginton is there, and he gets to the bag just in time. But Miami puts a big crooked number up. And the Marlins feeling good about themselves now. The offense has arrived, and they go to the 9th up 9-2. The Wednesday showdown. There's the box score, 9-2. Miami on top, 11 runs. Greg Dobbs certainly early on the hero when it was tight, and the Marlins snapping a club record 30-inning scoreless streak, and it was snapped by Dobbs and his RBI hit in the 4th.
You know, that, the Mark Burley start, some timely pinch hitting, has put the Marlins in this position, and hand it over to Ryan Webb as he gets ready to work this top of the 9th inning. It's amazing. I'm looking back, Rich, the last 3 Marlins wins, they've scored 29 runs, and in their last 5 losses, they scored 3 runs. So it's kind of been all or nothing for Ozzie Guillen.
Here's Utley now with Wigginton and Luna to follow. Webb throws a strike. Mike Dunn handled the 8th. Oh, and 2. On to Colorado for 4, then to Arizona for 4. A doubleheader in Arizona.
I think it's the first one they've ever had. So it's kind of a. I was reading something the other day. They're really promoting this split doubleheader. It's kind of a unique thing because it's the first time they've ever had one in their ballpark.
But not a true doubleheader. It's a split.
Yeah, it's a split doubleheader.
2 admission doubleheader.
2 separate games.
We will be televising the night game of that doubleheader. We will not televise the day game. Hernandez makes the catch. We will, if your schedule still says no television on Monday, that's not correct. And I wanted to point that out to you, Tommy, so when I show up, you're not out on some great country club in Scottsdale.
So there is a game.
Game and television on Monday.
Okay.
Game and television on Tuesday. Doubleheader Wednesday. We televise the second game. Thursday is a travel day. Marlins need all day to travel from Phoenix to Los Angeles. Reyes fires the first in time. So there's a couple outs here in the 9th inning. Home Depot presents doing more on defense. This was a very nice play to set the tone in the first inning.
Boy, grit his teeth, still bothered by that oblique, and I'm sure defensively making throws, he feels it as well. So not only has he made some nice defensive plays, 3 big base hits, the 407-foot home run today.
An 0 for 3 day for Hector Luna. Ball and a strike with 2 outs. The hope, obviously, for Miami is that the offense continues. You're going to need to score runs when you go into Colorado.
Yeah, it's a ballpark where you know you're going to have to go toe-to-toe with some guys who swing the bat. Of course, Tulowitzki's on the disabled list. Won't have to deal with him, but Carlos Gonzalez has been swinging a good bat. He's over 300, had a 4-hit game, I think, last night.
Webb ready, 2-2 coming to Luna.
Rich, I saw where Miguel Cabrera last night picked up his 100th RBI, the first major leaguer to get to 100. Hit his 30th home run today. Tigers playing a day game against the Twins. So Cabrera now with 103 RBIs.
Let's see if Dobbs can finish the day. Not quite. Trying to make a running throw, and it's an E5.
And kind of just didn't get on top enough. You saw how the arm angle was. Now the ball sailed a little bit. It might be tough to get on top with the good arm angle.
Dominic Brown now. Webb has it and steps on the bag, and Miami wins the ball game 9-2. The final. Big day for Greg Dobbs. A banged up Greg Dobbs, but he guts it out. 3 hits against Roy Halladay, an RBI single and a solo homer included. And Miami finally gets on the scoreboard and wins the ball game. You can see his teammates appreciate the effort with the injury that Dobbs has put in today. Some final thoughts on this one when we return.